Well, thank you very much to Eleni. And we're going to wrap up our AI session, I'm losing my words here, on the main stage. And we've got something special for you now, because we're going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be a town hall where you're going to hear from 5 business leaders who are going to tell you how they're using AI to really shape a new future. And I'm delighted to introduce the first guest, Keller Clifton. He's the CEO and co-founder of Zipline.
Okay, well, just to, really quickly, by quick show of hands, how many people here have read an article or seen a movie in the last few months about robots trying to kill you? Okay, so quite a few. Zipline uses robots to save lives. So I'll give you I want to just show a quick couple videos to give you a sense for how all of this works. And while we wait for the first video to come up here, so this is actually just a video that I shot on my cell phone. Zipline's mission is to build the first automated logistics system for Earth. We use automated aircraft to deliver a wide variety of emergency life-saving medical products to about 4,000 hospitals and health facilities globally. If you want to see what this looks like, this is an aircraft delivering, actually in 2016, to one of the first hospitals that we added to the network. Here we were delivering a blood transfusion to a mom who was having postpartum hemorrhaging after giving birth. We use electric autonomous aircraft to deliver to all these different health facilities. Here you can see these women in the foreground are basically thinking like, what the hell did we just see? And it's funny because when we started delivering in this way, a lot of customers told us it's as though it's a miracle. It's like blood is being delivered by God from the sky. And then after about 7 or 8 days, people think that this is totally normal. They're completely used to it. So taking us into a Zipline distribution center, this is where we're launching and recovering all of these different autonomous aircraft at scale. So here you can see Fabiola, one of our flight operators. The aircraft is accelerating from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about a third of a second. This is 10 Gs of acceleration. From the moment the vehicle leaves the end of the launcher, it's completely autonomous and flying itself. When the vehicle is returning home after making a delivery, we make deliveries out to 100 kilometers. Here we're snagging the vehicle out of the air and then decelerating it, floating it down into the air. We do this about 500 times a day per distribution center. And so just now looking in a 24/7 period, because these distribution centers operate 24/7, 365. We operate about 20 distribution centers globally. Here you're seeing CCTV. You can see it's actually only 3 a.m. right now. So we're seeing sunrise in Rwanda. You're seeing flight operations and fulfillment operations. And in a second, you're going to see the sky map. And so the sky map, every single one of these triangles is an aircraft going out, making deliveries autonomously throughout the national airspace. This enables us, you can see it's only 1 p.m. We've already delivered over 4,000 products. There are often 50 aircraft out making deliveries simultaneously. We've been doing this for 7 years in Rwanda. We now operate in 8 countries. We think that this is the future of logistics in a way that will be 10 times as fast, half the cost, and of course, fully zero emission. So going quickly, yeah, thanks. We think it's cool too. And of course, one of the coolest things about all of this is that everybody often thinks, the future of AI, the future of autonomy, it's going to start in the US, it's going to start in Japan. No, it's actually starting in smaller countries that are moving fast and showing how we can use AI and autonomy to save lives. So every one of these red dots, there are 4,000 red dots on these maps. Every one of these red dots is a hospital or health facility that is placing orders every single day, 24/7, 365, having insulin, cancer products, transfusions, infusions, blood, vaccines delivered fully autonomously. We've delivered 13 million doses of vaccine in the last few years, 2 million doses of COVID vaccine in partnership with Pfizer. We deliver 75% of the national blood supply of Rwanda outside the capital city fully autonomously. So this is, people still think of drone delivery as like sci-fi. It's not, it's scaled. And then to just give you a quick sense for what this really looks like, for the impact, University of Pennsylvania came out with a study, 3-year study done across all of the hospitals that we serve, showing we've been able to reduce the maternal mortality rate in these hospitals by 88%. They went from 460 moms losing their lives in childbirth to below 60 over a 3-year period. So there is a massively important mission here. We think that all humans deserve access to this kind of teleportation. The last panel talked about teleportation. That's great. That's how we talk about Zipline service, making teleportation a reality for every human on Earth. We've also been able to reduce missed vaccinations by 42%. And this is all, by the way, while reducing emissions by over 98%. So just to give you one little hint of what the future looks like, I'm going to go back one slide here. Maybe we don't have the video. But just to give you a sense for what this looks like at scale, a few months ago we announced our next generation partnership with Walmart, Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic throughout the US. And at scale, we think that this is going to provide a national automated logistics system that can not only provide universal access to healthcare, but that can also ensure that we have a logistics system that serves all people equally. So I'll wrap up there. But I guess last thought, being in this region, this is what inspires us. Like obviously, countries in this region, particularly Saudi Arabia, really investing in building the infrastructure, the Star Trek infrastructure of the future. We think that's incredibly exciting. We think it's likely going to start here before anywhere else in the world.
This has huge potential. With FAA approval, I think really the sky is the limits at this stage.
Just a month ago.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I'm sorry we are out of time. Applause for Keller Clifton. Right, next up, shaking up the sports industry with Charlie Ebersol. He is the CEO of Infinite Athlete. And I think some of the videos you're going to see here will also blow your mind.
I love this conference. I'm talking about sports technology, and the last guy was saving millions of lives daily in Rwanda. So, same. We at Infinite Athlete are looking at one of the core problems of AI around entertainment and sports, but really infrastructure in general. The fundamental challenge with AI is that it requires a lot of data, and it requires structured data. AI is only as good as what you put into it. And like all infrastructure globally, you can tell the difference between someone who has great infrastructure and who has terrible infrastructure, because when you go on ChatGPT and you ask them for someone's history and they start talking about things that have never happened, it's because the quality of the input is terrible. 15% of all data available is on the open internet. 85% is enterprise. It's behind a firewall, it's not accessible. Sports, which has been the place where every major innovation of communication has started, from the radio to the television to the satellite communications to mobile devices, all of that started around the same desire we all have to see who won the World Cup, to listen to an NFL game, to watch a baseball game or a cricket match. So what we've done is we've partnered with the biggest leagues in the world. We partnered with the NFL and the Premier League, and we're expanding into this region right now. And what we've done is we've invented a technology that is about the size of this box. It synchronizes every single piece of data from inside of a stadium live at zero latency, about 25 milliseconds of latency. It synchronizes it, and then it uses AI to compartmentalize everything into one place, a single API where people can build whatever they want on top of it. The sports business is ultimately just a licensing business. They find a certain number of people and they charge them as much money as is humanly possible to air the rights to their games, but everything's the same. There is no real fundamental difference between a Monday night football game and a Thursday night football game and a Sunday night football game, other than the fact that you're paying to watch it on Amazon or NBC or BT or TNT or whatever the platform is. What we've seen in technology is that when Steve Jobs stood up and invented the iPhone on stage in front of all of us, that by itself was groundbreaking, but was truly revolutionary was the App Store. The ability to democratize people's ability to create new businesses and deliver it to the entire world simultaneously. What we have done is we have taken all of the data from sports and created a marketplace in which anyone can build any new product and create new revenue sources for the leagues, but also new platforms. We are the largest player health and safety and performance company in the world. We power all player health and safety and performance for the NFL. We're partnered with FIFA. We do most of the gaming platforming that people are building simply by giving them access. I am not able to show the videos, so I'm just going to describe it with puppets that I have brought in my pocket. No, just kidding. At the end of the day, what we want to look at as a company and what we want to look at as a space is if we do not build infrastructure that can actually deliver quality data to the AI platforms we are building, we will not build anything functional. We will build very cute toys where people can write their exam papers by speaking into a phone, but we won't build the revolutionary technology we've been hearing about for a long time. And we believe that if you start at sports where you have billions of people trying to interact with the product at the same time, it will educate people on how you can build and what you can build, and that's what we've done.
Charlie, that was brilliant. I'm sorry we didn't have your slide for you. But you did excellently anyway. Charlie Ebersol, trying to transform one of the hardest industries, I think, to bring into the 21st century. And now we have Herman Narula, co-founder and CEO of Improbable. This one is really immersive. Take it away.
Hello. It's a real pleasure to speak here to everybody and to get the chance to show you some of what we're working on. So I'm a passionate gamer. Does anybody here enjoy video games? Well, that's good to know, because there's almost 3 billion people who like video games on the planet today. And for young people, games are not just entertainment, they're a continuation of their social experience. But these are quite limited in what they can do. Games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or Battle Royale experiences can handle about 100 people at once. But what if we don't want 100 people? What if we want 30,000 people? And we want them all to speak and interact in ways that would otherwise be impossible? And what if we don't just want to do that in the context of a game? What if we want to bring those 30,000 people from around the world into a stadium or into a world where they can interact in rich and meaningful ways? Now, to do that, we need to process billions of messages a second. We need completely new rendering technology. We need a completely new approach to building and scaling distributed systems. And this is where AI comes in. So I'm going to show you now an experience we created just a few weeks ago with Major League Baseball, where we were able to take for the first time a live baseball game and bring thousands of people into that world at once, singing, interacting from all over the world. One second. Just a second.
Hey, well, greetings everyone. Officially, welcome to today's.
These are all people, real people.
At the MLB virtual ballpark. Head on inside, find a good view. All you have to do is stay close to the foul lines and warning track. But in the future, you'll be able to explore any angle at any time of the game. You can select which point of view you'd like to watch the game from. You can be your own TV director. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over to Tropicana Field and let the action begin.
Rays fans, welcome inside of Tropicana Field. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to those joining us in the virtual ballpark with Game Day 3D.
So we're here streaming the live actions of every player into a space where thousands of people are watching simultaneously and able to interact along with people in the real stadium.
Let Singh take me out to the ball game.
So we have people able to use their own voices in a massive crowd, and for the first time ever can process all of that data at once. You can access this through a phone, through your PC, through a VR headset, and all of this connects together as well.
So now would be a good time to go have a look.
3-2, and a broken bat pop up on the infield, and that will do it.
Thank you all once again. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next time in the MLB virtual
And
ballpark.
as a next stage, we're going significantly beyond this. Not merely bringing lots of people into a single environment, but starting to connect each of these worlds together. And we're expanding our work from sports into music, into culture, allowing communities in different parts of the world to interact in new ways. And this is technology that anybody can use. Using just simple off-the-shelf technologies like game engines and web technologies, you can build content and deploy it into this world and have it interact with absolutely everybody in a single place at a single time. Thank you.
Well done. Herman navigating some technical issues, but understood incredibly well. Now, we're moving on to something perhaps a little more serious, but incredibly important, an application of AI for healthcare. Let me welcome to the stage Punit Singh Soni, founder and CEO of Suki.
Thank you.
Have you got one?
This. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. How many folks here are nurses, doctors, clinicians of any kind? Put your hands up. Nobody. How many people are patients who have ever seen a doctor or a nurse? This is how important healthcare is. It touches everybody's life. And I'm going to submit to you the biggest impact of AI, artificial intelligence in the world, is going to be in the sphere of healthcare. The biggest public health crisis in the world today is the shortage of clinicians, doctors, nurses, MAs, and PAs. And I think that speech, language models, consumer-grade UI is going to come together and build a new kind of AI assistant that will be used by doctors, clinicians across the world to deliver healthcare effectively. And that is basically the premise of the company we are building called Suki. So this is the product. Now, the primary question is, if you can actually build an AI layer over all of healthcare, what kind of a company would that be? Isn't it strange to you that in search we have this game-changing large company called Google, in social you have Meta, in e-commerce you have Amazon, in media you have Netflix. Where is that seminal, incredibly interesting, huge, large company in healthcare? Why does it not exist? It's 5 to 7% of every country's GDP. In US, it's 20% of the GDP. How come there is no company in healthcare? My thesis is that the disruption point at which healthcare technology is going to completely change is artificial intelligence, and it is here with us today. It will start first in not clinical activities, but in administrative work. So the AI assistant will be there next to the doctors, and it will write their notes for them, or it will do their orders for them, or it will take all the content and put it into the electronic medical record automatically as they're talking to the patient. But then slowly and steadily, with all the data that's available, it will be able to do clinical decision support. It may be able to say, well, you're prescribing this medicine for a person who's got hyperkalemia, this is an issue. Or it may be able to provide you drug interaction information at the point of care. And then it'll start moving into core clinical activities. So imagine a surgeon's doing an operation, and there is an AI assistant there to assist, provide all the information on their fingertips as they move forward. This is going to happen, and it's going to happen through, if I can get this to work, through the idea of a mission, which is to take healthcare tech and make it truly assistive and invisible so that you can focus your clinicians on doing what they love, which is taking care of patients. We are doing this by building a voice-based digital assistant. Think of it like a Siri, but for doctors. This Suki assistant is deployed in about 200 plus health systems across the country today. It's being used in US. It's been used across major health systems by doctors as they are talking to their physicians. In the time that I've spent doing this presentation, about 10 to 15 patient encounters have happened in the country where they are using this assistant while they're actually working with while they're interacting with their patients. So what does it really do? Now, I had a beautiful video, but I was told it's too promotional. So now I'm going to tell you what it does by talking about it. Imagine a world where you walk in, a doctor walks into a clinic and says, hey, Suki, show me the schedule. Suki brings up the schedule. Then it says, well, the first patient looks like it's Jane Roberts. Can you please give me a summary of Jane Roberts? What's she coming in for? What's her background? Suki actually creates that summary, gives it to the doctor. Then it says, bring up her chest x-ray. I want to take a look at it. Summarize the findings. Suki, listen to my conversation with the patient and summarize the note. Put together all the information, clinical data. Change that one thing there that you have written. By the way, prescribe doxycycline 5 milligrams over 3 weeks. I'm making this up. I'm not a doctor. Take all of this information, submit it to the electronic medical record. Suki, stop. Now show me the next patient and summarize. This exists today. This is not a futuristic world. This is actually a product that works today. In a world where we have driverless cars and people are talking about going to Mars, I think it's high time we could actually rethink healthcare technology. Because what is the most human thing to do in the world? It's actually to build healthcare tech that's democratized and available to everybody else. And that is the promise of Suki and artificial intelligence. So thank you.
Punit, that was wonderful. I'm the daughter of doctors. I think this would have helped with the never-ending administration and burnout particularly well. Thank you very much. And now for our last business leader, May Habib, the CEO and co-founder of Writer.com.
Hi, everybody. My name is May, and Writer is a generative AI platform for the enterprise. So what that means is we combine a large language model with all of the tools and services companies need to build really useful things with them. And our vision is to be able to help work become more joyful, more creative, take a lot of the tedious tasks away from some of the cognitive manual labor that we do. If you take two things away from this town hall, I'd like them to be two things that we have learned over 3 years of running Writer with enterprise customers like Accenture and United Healthcare and Spotify and Uber, and actually a 10-year career that me and my co-founder and some of our early product and engineers have had in the NLP and machine learning space. And the first lesson for us has been around approaching generative AI as a problem of enabling people versus rolling out new technology. And what I mean by that is the following. Most people, if you give them an empty box and say, you can prompt whatever you'd like in here, this engine is going to do so much of your work, will literally write nothing in that box. It's not very well known, but ChatGPT has an 86% abandonment rate, which means 86% of people who try it don't become active users. And that's not what we want for our technology. That's not going to be what's required to have a transformation that is led by AI. We really need to enable people. And so our approach has been really different. When we go into a company, we work with leaders to help build AI programs that are really bottoms up. What are the workflows? What are the tasks that people feel really constrained by? Either they need more headcount and they can't get it, or it's processes that take too long. And when you really involve people, it has become a real tenet of the much faster transformation with AI that people are seeing. The second learning for us has been in investing in AI literacy upfront. And there is a lot of work in AI right now, governance, task forces, chief AI officers, et cetera, people trying to collect use cases. But there is still a lack of understanding around how these transformer models actually work, what is possible, what isn't possible with the technology. We have a customer, Intuit, that has done this so well. Before using Writer or any other AI tool, they take a 10-minute little quiz and test. Think of it as like a AI literacy test that helps them identify, what does AI generated content look like? We don't want that necessarily. What are answers that you might ask a model that it does answer for you, but the answer is probably wrong if it doesn't have the data that it needs. And so AI literacy being where people invest first has definitely been, one of the accelerants to AI programs working really well. So much of this moment, has been compared to the iPhone, and I personally believe that AI is going to be a bigger platform shift and a bigger transformation than even mobile was. But the thing is, when we all got our iPhones, we were instantly addicted. We were using them for hours quite quickly. And that has still not happened in generative AI. It's still very, very early days. And so our learning, if I leave you with one thought, think about generative AI in your organizations as employee first. Your role is to enable your organization with AI. It's a competitive advantage for attracting people for sure. And number two, invest in AI literacy before tooling. People knowing what these models are capable of, what the risks are, is so important to being able to build the kind of AI-enabled organization we all want to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, May. That was wonderful. And that wraps up, really, our morning of Generation AI. And I hope you've seen, literally from this town hall, just how many applications there are for artificial intelligence. And you've heard, of course, from all the panels before of all the stakeholders, the investors, the role we can all play in shaping this new future and making sure it's utopian, not dystopian. Thank you very much.